The ocean is a vast, unforgiving wilderness, hiding countless secrets, none more chilling than the ghost ships. These vessels drift silently, their crews vanished or reduced to desperate survivors. A broken mast or a storm can leave a ship stranded, hundreds of miles from land with no hope of rescue. The greatest enemy isn't the waves or sharks, it's thirst. Surrounded by endless salt water, sailors face the cruel irony: water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Salt water is poison. Drinking it brings madness and death. The search for fresh water becomes an all-consuming obsession. The sun bakes the decks, draining life from the crew. Familiar spaces, galley, sleeping quarters, become empty reminders of comfort lost. Every object is scrutinized for survival. A canvas, a pot, a rope, each could mean life or death. The silence is broken only by the groan of the hull or the breath of a lone survivor. These are the living ghosts, trapped between life and the sea's grave. Their only hope to create fresh water from the deadly expanse around them. This is their story, a tale of desperation and discovery on the high seas. Turning salt water into fresh water isn't new, it's ancient wisdom. The principle is simple. Boil water, capture the steam, and condense it back into pure liquid. Aristotle wrote about this over 2,000 years ago, noting that evaporated seawater returns as sweet, salt-free water. Early sailors knew the theory, but practical distillation was rare and difficult at sea. Some tried boiling seawater and collecting the condensed drops with wool or sponges. Arab alchemists refined the process, inventing the alembic, a device for distillation. Their knowledge spread slowly, becoming a last resort secret among sailors. By the age of sail, distillation was known but rarely practiced. For most, survival depended on stored water, not science. Only in moments of crisis did the ancient art of distillation become a fragile hope. Life on a sailing ship was a daily struggle for fresh water. Stored in wooden casks, water quickly spoiled, turning green, foul, and dangerous. To make it drinkable, sailors mixed it with rum, creating grog. Alcohol masked the taste and killed some bacteria, but supplies were limited. Strict rationing was essential. Every drop was counted. When water ran low, anxiety and desperation grew. Reduced rations meant thirst, sickness, and the threat of mutiny. When the last cask was empty, the ship became a floating desert. The crew faced their ultimate test. Survival with nothing but ingenuity. Social order broke down. Men would do anything for a mouthful of water. In these dire moments, old tales of making fresh water from the sea resurfaced. The age of grog ended. The age of invention began. Survival now depended on rediscovering forgotten skills. With all else lost, survivors improvised a still from whatever they could salvage. They needed three things: a way to boil salt water, a way to channel steam, and a way to cool and collect it. A cooking pot became the boiler, fueled by broken ship timbers. Capturing steam was tricky: a canvas or metal lid with a hole fitted with a musket barrel or pipe. The pipe, sealed with rags, led to a collection vessel. Cooling was vital: wet cloths draped over the pipe, kept damp with seawater, helped condense the steam. Each drop of fresh water was a victory. The still was fragile, demanding constant attention. Steady fire, tight seals, wet cloths. The crew's survival depended on this crude assembly. It was slow, laborious, and exhausting, but from deadly salt water they created life-giving drops. Every drop was hope. The makeshift still became their lifeline. The makeshift still was ingenious, but far from perfect. It produced only tiny amounts of water, barely enough to keep a few men alive. Fuel was a constant problem. Survivors burned anything they could, even parts of the ship itself. Each piece of wood fed to the fire was a piece of their only shelter, gone forever. The apparatus was unreliable. Pipes clogged, pots cracked, fires threatened disaster. A sudden wave could destroy hours of work. Operating the still was dangerous, especially for weakened men on a wooden ship. Distillation was always the last resort, slow, risky, and exhausting. It was a desperate gamble, trading the ship's structure for a few more days of life. Survival pushed human endurance to its limits. Even with a still, water was so scarce it had to be rationed with brutal precision. Survivors received only a few mouthfuls a day, barely enough to delay death. Thirst bred suspicion and eroded trust among the crew. Rain was salvation. A sudden squall brought frantic efforts to catch every drop. Canvas, sails, and blankets became makeshift collectors. A good rainstorm could provide more water in an hour than the still in a week. But rain was unpredictable, sometimes a blessing, often a false hope. As days dragged on, men weakened and died, their bodies committed to the sea. Survivors became living ghosts, haunted by thirst and loss. Their fate depended on crude technology, luck, and sheer willpower. For many, the ocean's silence was their final answer. Today, marine archaeologists uncover the truth behind these survival stories. Among shipwrecks, they find not just treasure, but the tools of desperation. Fire-blackened pots, musket barrels repurposed as condenser pipes. These artifacts are silent witnesses to human ingenuity. Modern ships have advanced water systems, and the terror of thirst is forgotten. But the relics remind us how vulnerable we once were. The true legacy of these ghost ships is not gold, but endurance. They tell of men who dismantled their world for a chance at life. Their makeshift stills are symbols of the unyielding human spirit. In the face of impossible odds, they persevered. Their story echoes across the ocean, a testament to survival.